Now, just to remind you all, when you do this karuna, this compassion, and just be careful of our sadness may start to pop up, because we are looking into the suffering, into the different areas of suffering of beings, including oneself. And so sometimes if you are not careful, if the mindfulness is not there, and then it turns into tears and grief, then something is wrong with the karuna already. Then it's out of the actual karuna. So the karuna here is to, just like metta, you wish them to be free from those suffering, all their suffering. Whereas in metta, we wish them to have well-being, to be well, to be happy, to be peaceful. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so what else? Okay, let's go to the Dhamma talk. All right, so tonight, I'm looking into this incomprehensible things that you cannot comprehend. Things that you cannot conceive too much. If you're going to do it, you're going to think about it too much, then it goes mad. That's what the Buddha says. Now, this topic, it came to me actually from last week, because somebody was asking Reverend Sujiva about the on verbally, not on chat, verbally, about the 9 jhanas, and then after that, how the Buddha did not die, did not pass away, and Mahaparidimada and the 9th jhana, why I chose the 4th jhana, and things like that, why must go up, must go down like that, So that was being asked to the Reverend Sujiva. And then it struck me that sometimes there are people who try to conceive certain things beyond our capability, beyond the human capability, even beyond the Arahant's capability. So these things, I was thinking, no matter how many monks, if she is going to ask, no matter how many monks or nuns or how many teachers, then then it will be then you have 10 different answers. You have all kinds of different answers, and there will never be a satisfactory answer. So no matter, when you are not satisfied, you're going to keep asking again and again and again and again. Still no answer. But finally, if somebody were to give you the answer, what good will it give to you? How is it going to benefit you in terms of morality, in terms of concentration, in terms of wisdom? How is it going to give you? May it give you the satisfaction of your mental craving only, your curiosity, your burning curiosity, your burning desire to know certain things. And that curiosity, sometimes, if you're not careful, it turns into all kinds of wrong view, all kinds of skeptical doubt, and it becomes a big hindrance for the devotee. So there are certain things that we should not put our feet too much into it, so to speak. If you put onto them too much on it, then it's going to be a problem. Okay? Now, this inconceivable or this incomprehensible dhammas, these dhammas, it's the word dhamma here, it's as not as a Buddha Dhamma, but this Dhamma is in as a whole, as a phenomenon. So rather than it's the Dhamma as in like a Buddha Dhamma. So the Buddha did mention in one sutta, which afterwards I'm going to share to you, that there are four things that one should not comprehend on it too much. Okay, let's look into it a little bit. All right. Okay. Okay, let's go into my screen sharing. Where is my word file? Okay, here. All right. Okay, can you all see? Okay. Yeah. All right. This sutta called Acinteyya Sutta, the discourse on the inconceivable matters. Acinteyya. The word Acinteyya here, it's come from the Pali word. So it's means non or Cinta means ponder or thinking. Eya is a Pali suffix. So when you put it all together, it becomes like incomprehensible, inconceivable, unthinkable, something like that when it comes to it. The word cinta here, of course, this is not a Malay word. This is a cinta here in the Pali. It's like, for example, we talk about the cinta maya panya, wisdom that arises through reflection, to thinking through pondering. So this is non-thinkable, unthinkable, non-pondering, so incomprehensible. Okay, let's go back to this one, the sutta. Acinteyya Sutta, discourse on the inconceivable matters. Bhikkhus, there are four inconceivable matters that one should not try to conceive. One who tries to conceive them will reap either madness or frustration. What for? 1. The domain of the Buddhas is an inconceivable matter that one should not try to conceive. One who tries to conceive it will reap either madness or frustration. Number 2, the domain of one in jhana is an inconceivable matter. Number 3, the result of karma, karma vipaka, is an inconceivable matter. And number 4, speculation about the world is a lokachinta, is an inconceivable matter that one should not try to conceive. One who tries to conceive it will either reap either madness or frustration. These are the 4 inconceivable matters that one should not try to conceive. One who tries to conceive them will either reap madness or frustration. So this sutta, it's a very interesting, although it's mentioned quite short, but over the various in suttas, in Abhidhamma, they mention about these things. The Buddha elaborate a number of things. For example, in the result of karma, in the wholesome resultant, unwholesome resultant. Then there are many more things. Of course, they were not able to go through all of them. So just to give you some of the things that one should not step beyond our thinking. If not, if either reap madness or frustration, not only madness or frustration, but also will reap into skeptical doubt and also wrong view, especially things like number 4. Okay, let's see what are the things here. So let's look at number 1, the domain of the Buddhas. What do you mean by the domain of the Buddhas? All right. there are a number of things, like for example, the domain of the Buddhas, and just too many, for example, that we can able to share it out. There's just too many. We take a number of examples, and we're going to look into it, and then we'll see that how these things belongs to the Buddha. And you go and think about it, it's impossible. Now, take for example number one, omnisciency, omniscient, sabbanyo. This one is one of the characteristics of the Buddha. Now, take an example, like for example, what was that? Yeah, you know that at one time we talked about the hindrances, and I gave this example quite a lot. That one of the hindrances on sloth and torpor, that they got the 8 things how to overcome sloth and torpor given by the Buddha. One of it, for example, is like it says walking, or stretching your limbs, or pulling your earlobes. These type of things that we did mention in the hindrances. Now that particular sutta arises because Venerable Moggallana was very sleepy while he was practicing, and that was before he became an arahant. So that time, the Buddha was staying far away. The Moggallana was staying another place altogether, far away. But due to the omnisciency of the Buddha at that particular time, knowing that Moggallana, it's like sleepy right now, drowsy, heavily drowsy right now, then he disappeared from one place, arises in front of Moggallana. And I remember I gave the simile. And of course I expand on it on what I think. If we are meditating, you're meditating, and suddenly your teacher suddenly appear in front of you. Oh, your sleepiness totally gone. Don't need to give the Dhamma talk also. Don't need to give anything also. Just by him appearing in front of you suddenly, then it's all this one is all gone. But anyway, the Buddha after that mentioned a number of things which is very helpful for the later generation like us. So that omnisciency, that means he knows that Moggallana is drowsy, but he is far away. How does he know these things? It's beyond our comprehension. It's beyond our comprehension. It is impossible for us to know. So when he wants to know it, he knows it. Then there are also that in the I think in the Visuddhimagga or some other commentaries, it's mentioned that this omnisciency doesn't mean that all the time he knows not that when he wants to know it, he will know it. When he doesn't want to know it, and then he doesn't exercise the omnisciency. It is said that in the commentaries, but that is said in the books, but how do we know? How do we know? So this one, the omnisciency of the Buddha, how he knows certain things is going to happen and what sort of things and so on, that is what we call the omnisciency of the Buddha. This is not in the area of disciples or even Sariputta or even Pachika Buddhas also. Again here, I'm speculating. How do I know? Okay, but this one we know that this is all mentioned in the books, mentioned in the suttas, but this is not our area to look into it. So this omnisciency. Now, another one called the 10 powers of the Buddha. Majjhima Nikaya number 12. A small part of it. Now, in this Majjhima Nikaya number 12, it mentioned about the 10 powers. Again, here is a kind of like repetition of the omnisciency, but it's more elaborated. Let's look into it a little. Where is my Kindle? Okay. Hey, this is not the one. Majjhima Nikaya number 12. Hey, this is also... Hold on. Mahasinananda Sutta. Okay, this is the one. All right, let me search it, and then after that make this one. 10 powers of the Tathagata. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Oh, the font. Okay, 10 powers of the Tathagata. All right. Okay, let's move to the next page. Hey. Okay. Sariputta, the Tathagata has these 10 Tathagata's power, possessing which he claims the herd leaders place roar his lion's roar in the assemblies and set rolling the wheel of Brahma. What are the 10? Here, the Tathagata understands as it actually the possible as possible and the impossible as impossible. And that is the Tathagata's power, that which has by virtue of which claims the herd's leader and so on. Okay, number 2. The Tathagata understands as actually the result of actions, a result of karma undertaken, past, future, present, by way of possibilities and causes. That means here are the conditioning and also the actual cause and so on. Okay. Number 3, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the way leading to all destinations. What do you mean by leading in the way to all destination? Let's make it 184. Wow, this one is again is elaborated at 3542. Okay. Again, the Tathagata understands is actually the world with many different elements. Okay. Again, the Tathagata understands that how beings have different inclinations. This one is interesting because this one, number 5 here, we can see that in the suttas that the Buddha gave certain Dhamma discourse when you see that your maturity or your inclination of your mental faculties becomes ripened, and then he deliver a certain suttas, and therefore the person or the beings get enlightened. So this belongs to this one. This is not our area. Number 1. Okay. Number 6. Understands as it actually the disposition on the faculties of being. This is the faculties of being. This is the faculties of being. The other one is not. After we look into it, as it actually the defilement, the cleansing, and the emergence in regards to the jhanas, liberation, concentration, and attainments. That also is there. Recollect his manifold past life, that is one birth, 2 birth, and so on. With thus their respect to the particulars, he recollect his manifold past lives. Now, a lot of his disciples, and this number 8, a lot of his disciples also can recollect past lives. Even they said that according to the chronicles of the Buddha, then they said that even the Moggallana and Sariputta, they have even a certain limit also. I mean, it's a huge number, but still a certain limit. Whereas the Tathagata has without limit of past lives. Then again here, number 9, that the divine eye with purified and surpasses the human, then the Tathagata see beings passing away and repairing inferior, superior, fair and ugly, fortunate and unfortunate. He understands how beings pass according to their actions. This is again how the resultant of the karma. Okay, number 10. Again here, by realizing himself with direct knowledge, the Tathagata here and now enters upon and abides in the deliverance of mind and deliverance by wisdom that are taintless with the destruction of taints. Now, this one also shared by the disciple, but the way that how the Buddha understands it is far, far more than all the disciples combined. So this is his power. This is not our area. This is the 10 powers and so on. So a lot of things that we are not able to understand what actually the Buddha can do, or how he will do it, and what way he will do it. Let's see some of the things over here. Let's say number 183. This knowledge can be 183. This is a bit small. This knowledge can be amplified by the Buddha analysis of karma in Majjhima Nikaya 57. Sorry. Okay, 135, 136. They tell you how the Buddha analyzed the karma in various suttas. Then elucidated meaning of many elements consisting and found in the world. Okay, now let us go back a little bit. Let us go back. Wait, hold on. Let me see my notes for a while. Omnisciency, the way of the Bhava, Majjhima Nikaya 12. Okay, all right. Now, here's some of the things here. Can y'all see? Can y'all see again this one? Again, the Tathagata understand. Okay. Here, there are some of the things which is beyond our comprehension. Just now, as I was saying that the faculties of beings. The faculties of beings here is that to see whether you are ripened in your faculties. That means your 5 faculties. One of your 5 faculties. If your 5 faculties are ready, the Buddha will know when to deliver the talk for you. And by listening to that talk and by meditating on that spot, you're already able to you're able to achieve freedom or deliverance or nibbana. So nowadays, we cannot do that. We cannot looking into a yogi. We think that this yogi want to sampai already, want to arrive. Then after that, they come to the end. They get stuck. They begins, for example, then they begins very well, and then they're progressing. But near to the enlightenment, it seems that they just cannot pass through. They're just going on and repeating, but enlightenment so near and yet so far. There are people like that. There are people like that. And also it's mentioned in the commentaries also, that they reach until the Sankara Upekanyana and they keep on repeating on that area, but cannot able to just to penetrate a bit more. Why? I have no idea. Really, this one is beyond our comprehension already. So all this time, like sometimes people ask me, Bhante, if I practice this vipassana, you think like 3 months, I can get first stage of sotapanna? Wow. or there are some people, they calculate how many retreats they have gone, Then they say that each retreat, let me maybe first retreat, second retreat, I get one first insight, second insight. Then after the next retreat, I'm going to get another 2 more insight. How many insight altogether? Oh, there are 16 insight knowledges. By 8 retreat, then I'll reach enlightenment already. Oh, yang sui ka liao already, like you cannot even see your own faculties, whether they're going to ripen or not. It's only this one remains at the realm of the Buddha. This is not in the realm of ourself, and also it's not in the realm of others or other teachers also. No matter how great the teacher is in this life. Sometimes I've seen some yogis or some meditators, they tremendously put everything in the teachers, as if that the teachers know you're going to get enlightened and so on. For me, for one thing, then there are also like yogis. They come to me, Bhante, how come you don't declare me as enlightened one, Bhante? you talk about enlightenment, you talk about everything, you can talk here and there and everything, but I never heard that you go and declare somebody else enlightened one. Whereas the other teacher, they declare this one enlightened, that one enlightened, this one also enlightened, everybody enlightened. Even the nature of enlightenment is also in a very elusive thing. Unless of course you can know, you not to say that you do not know, you can know it for yourself. It's just that for somebody else to able to know whether you're enlightened or not, then the other person must have a certain special powers, not by saying what you talk about, not how you describe, It's actually go into your mind, to see your mind whether you are enlightened or not. Not like how you describe this and describe that. So these are the areas of the Buddhas, and then we cannot able to see into all these things too much, So this is one thing, that all these powers and so on, this one belongs to the Buddha. And of course, if we want to talk about these 10 powers of the Buddha, then it's going to be, again, this is good for those people who have a lot of faith. Who have a lot of faith, and they love this type of Dhamma talk, the 10 powers of the Buddha, Then they love this type of talk, how the Buddha is this and all that. They get very inspired when they hear these type of things. Anyway, let's look into another area of where the Buddha's way of the Buddha. Now, ways of the Buddhas. Now, here, ways of the Buddha, when they talk about how the Buddha passed away, when we don't say the Buddha passed away, it's not the right usage. The Buddha attains the Mahaparinibbana. We call it attain the Mahaparinibbana because when it says Parinibbana, it is no more rebirth anymore. But in English word, there is no such thing as death, and of course they only use the word death only. So here, when they use the word Parinibbana, or for the Buddha, the Mahaparinibbana, and then when he used that word, it meant that there's no more rebirth anymore. Okay? So, a number of things that are ways of the Buddha, and also this one is domain of the Buddhas. It is not, again, why the Buddha did this and why the Buddha did not do that. Now, take for example, let's see. Okay. When the Buddha gained enlightenment, then sometimes you may ask, why the Buddha spent 7 weeks near the vicinity of the Bodhi tree there. Why 7 weeks? Why not 8 weeks? Why not 3 weeks? Why not 5 weeks? Why 7 weeks? This one is not our area for us to discern. Again, for example, like the rising of a Buddha. The arising of a Buddha is also falls under what we call Dhamma Niyama. Dhamma Niyama, it means the law of phenomena. And this one cut across time. This, I think, Reverend Sujiva did mention it, just a passing through. He used the word Dhamma Niyama. So the word, here the Dhamma Niyama means that, for example, arising of the Buddha, there will be, in the future, there are Buddhas to come. There's Buddha Gautama is not the last one, it's not the first one. And there will be more and more to come in the future. But when they will come in and how they will come in, we do not know. When the time is right, they know how to arise. So, when the Buddha passed away also, when the Buddha attained Mahaparinibbana, why does it go up to the 9th jhana, first jhana to the, let's say, 8th jhana, to the 8th jhana? Not only the 8th jhana, it goes into the cessation, the attainment of cessation, Nirodha Samapatti. From that, it comes back down again to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it goes into cessation, absorption into cessation, Nirodha Samapatti. Then after that, it goes down to from 8. Then it comes out from that one to 8, to 7, 5, 5, 3, 4 until 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. He attained Mahaparinibbana with that. So this one, it says the life faculty expired, which is true, the life faculty expired. Now the thing is that, is it only Buddha Gautama did it, or the past Buddhas also did it in the same way, and the future Buddhas also will do it in the same way? Will that do? I think that belongs to the area of the Buddha. Whether my answer is correct or not, I'm speculating. Because these are the ways of the Buddha, and it's impossible for us to go to know exactly why is the whole thing going through. This one, where the first to 8, that one is mentioned in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, in the Dikha Nikaya. So it's quite a long sutta, but there's one part at the end where they talk about the actual Mahaparinibbana of the Buddha. So those areas belongs to the Buddhas. These are the domain of the Buddhas. Now, even for that person were to ask the question, and no matter how you're going to ask the question, if you get a certain answers, you feel satisfied with it. But is it the truth or not? Because we really do not know the truth. The truth belongs to the Buddha. It's just because that it satisfies your curiosity. But whether it's the truth or not, that's all another thing. So if you keep on asking those type of questions too much, and then the Buddha says it will leads you into a lot of frustration, a lot of madness, a lot of speculative doubt, and also towards wrong view. So those type of things we can ask, not to say we cannot ask, but we must know our limit of thinking. If we don't know where is the certain limit of certain topic that we cannot think too much, then that will be a problem. Then so on, and other things also. There are just too many things on the domain of the Buddhas. Let us go to number 2. Let us go to number 2. What is this number 2? The domain of one in jhanas is also inconceivable matter. You are in jhana, you experience it, fine. Somebody else do not know what is jhana and nibbana one. You're going to think about it, and then you're going to go mad also. Again, here, there are a number of things. All right. There are a number of things. This one, when it says the domain of jhanas, it also includes nibbana also. Yeah? Include also the supernormal powers too. Because this one, when the powers of this absorption, how it expands towards a different powers and so on, then that is also related to the jhana. Now, this one includes nibbana also. This is what I written. All this included nibbana. The actual experience of nibbana and jhana. Now here, no matter how you describe nibbana, like the Buddha says, like a simile of a tortoise or a turtle and a fish, talking about there's such a thing as a dry land, but to the fish is that there's such a thing as dry land. But for the turtle who can able to go into the dry land and also into the water, then they could able to see it, to able to describe it very clearly. So for us, if we are those who are not able to experience nibbana or experience jhana, then we only speculate about it. Then we can only speculate about it. We cannot think about it in a certain direction, hopefully in the right direction. Then we speculate about it also. You see, this jhana and experience of this jhana and nibbana, for especially I've seen for those people who love academic thing, you love all this type of conjectural and thinking about it and forming your own ideas and so on. Then when they think about it, think until everything become entangled, everything entangled until they say that nibbana, there must be existence in nibbana. How can there's no such thing as existence of nibbana? Nibbana must have a self one. How come nibbana can have no self one? It's impossible. They speculate. Well, I said, when they speculate on it too much, they goes into touching upon wrong views already. Not only mad, wrong view is worse sometimes. So a lot of things the Buddha did mention about nibbana. Yes, the Buddha mentioned about nibbana. He described it in many ways, many names for it. The unconditioned, he says, deathless, for example. The unborn, for example. He used the word this one. But for us listener, he say, what? What is unborn? What is deathless? No matter how you think and so on, it's also impossible. Jhana also the same thing. I mentioned about how the jhanas go inside the jhana and so on, and then that is the consciousness, the consciousness that experience jhana. But exactly how jhana is like, again, here the Buddha used the word liberation. It liberates from the defilements. So again here, if we are still in the water one, we haven't seen land one, again here we also have no idea what the Buddha is talking about. So only when you experience the jhana, then only you can understand. You experience the nibbana, then only you can understand in your own way. In your own way. And again, that when we experience the jhanas and nibbana, also we are experience them in a limited way. We are not able to experience them as like the Buddha, where they can have the expansion of the scope of his penetration. He can experience it fully. We only experience it enough for us to get out from this cycle of birth and rebirth. We are not talking about experiencing everything, just enough for us to get out from this cycle of birth and rebirth. The third one, abhignana, supernormal powers. Now, these supernormal powers is an extension of the jhanas that you have developed. Now, these are the various jhanas that you can able to develop and this abhignana is in the area of the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Not the area of 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th jhana. That is arupa. Arupa, this one, they all create rupa and everything. You see all this number 1 and number A, B, C, D, E. This is all rupa things. This is not belongs to arupa. So this is all matter. It needs matter. So magical powers here, idivida. Here the Buddha says that they are beings and also they are disciples of the Buddha. For example, can create a different, it looks the same, but it's just only created, exactly looks the same. For example, you may see me sitting here, but the real me is upstairs, maybe doing something else, Just another Gavesi is giving the Dhamma talk only. It can be that. It can create their different bodies. It can create different body exactly the same. And for like Chula Pantaka, he can able to create 1,000 bodies exactly looks like him. That is the foremost. He can able to do that. And that not only looks the same, it looks the same, but they can react and respond to different things. As if like you are seeing 1,000 same fella, but doing different thing altogether at one time. So these are the area. These are the area. And how the mind create that? It's impossible for us to know. Divine ear, divine ear means that you can able to hear things far, far away. Or you can able to hear what the devas or the brahmas are talking. These belongs to it. We cannot. We only hear like 10 meters, 20 meters, or 5 kilometers, or maybe there's a sound, loud sound, then only we can able, for our normal sense consciousness to able to hear. For the divine ear, that is another thing altogether. So the divine ear and divine eye, especially for those who can able, like using their magical powers, that they can able to travel to the heavenly realms, to the heavenly realms, and they can see the devas, and also they can hear the devas, what they are talking. So they can have a conversation in that sense. And we can see that there's a number of suttas that they have those things too. If you have divine eye, but you don't have divine ear, that means you are kind of like deaf to them. You're deaf to the deva. You can see them, but you cannot hear them. So some of us, and some of us, we have a certain inclination for these type of things. For example, there are some people who can see all devas, who can see betas and so on, Not all, but some of them, they could able to see those things. Perhaps these are coming from their past life that they have practiced these things before. Even, for example, right now, nowadays, I think if you can see any devas ka, hantu ka, or whatever that you can see, you better keep your mouth shut. Because if you open up your mouth, everybody think that you are mad. Even you could see it, those things are real, but because that most people could not see it, then you better keep your mouth shut. Just as the same thing as enlightenment, also the same thing. Even you have enlightenment, you better shut up also, because people think that if you're going to tell yourself that you are enlightened, people also think that you are siao already. You gotta meditate ka siao ya meditate until gila already, think that go everywhere, advertise themselves as enlightened. The Buddha can do it, but not in this time, not this our area. Because first of all, there are too few people who are enlightened. Yeah. And how are you going to know that this person is enlightened? Even the two person who is enlightened, I cannot able to know who is who also. Unless, as I said, the person have the special powers. Number three, for example, penetration into the mind of others. He penetrates into your mind. He looks into your defilements. What are the defilements that is still there and what are the defilements are not there anymore? Then he can know that whether you are in which level of enlightenment. Yeah. If he has that power. But even he has that power, who is he going to tell to? Again, who is going to believe the monk or whether he have that power or not? So this one, even you have this supernormal powers also. Finally, as I said, you keep it to yourself. Well, you can keep it to yourself if, for example, if you these magical powers, if, for example, in the COVID time, you keep on staying at home only. With this magical power, I go travel to the tour in the Deva world. Tour in the Deva world. you just sit at home, tour in the world, this one. Once you tour in the Deva world, you come down to the world, no matter how beautiful the place is, no matter how fascinating, like you go Japan or wherever, beautiful and so on, or Switzerland is beautiful. When you tour the Deva world, you come back here, it's like the world is like you go to the lorong at the back of your house, we got dogs and cat shit everywhere. Then you're going past through there, like going through the world. When you see the Deva world. So these are all these things. Now, this abhignana also, this, like for example, number D, remembering of former existence and so on. This again, some monks nowadays, they love to talk about their past life and so on. Okay, we give them a benefit of the doubt again, Sometimes when we recollect one or two past life, it's not it's not to say it's bad, it's still good, But be careful that sometimes that when you go into this past life thing, you do not know that whether is it real or is it your imagination. Because the real and the imagination is a very gray area. Sometimes there are people who meditate. Then they meditate, they see some places that they've never seen before, and they kind of like feel connected to the places and I've seen my past life already, this is where I was and who I am and so on, There are also some books, I think I've read some books here, one or two books, they called Many Life, Many Masters, and also subsequently some of the books, and they talk about some people who goes into trance and then they go into a past life, and going through that past life to help them to overcome certain disease of the body in this life or certain mental behavior, to undo all those things of the past, and in a way, kind of like it helps. There's a word for it. They call it what? Retro. What is the word? Psychology. I forgot about it. Anyway. When they go into it and they come back and they change their nature and so on. Actually, I think you don't have to go into your past life to change those type of things. If you have, you can go, well and good. If you don't have able to see your past life, also well and good. What you can do, for example, if you have a lot of anger and then an anger issue and so on, that you create, and this life, there's a lot of pain in the body because of that past life thing. And some people, they go into that past life, see the nature, and then in this life, they overcome the problem. Actually, you don't have to. All we need to do is learn to develop metta, When you learn to develop metta, you change the present condition, you change the present mind, and that too, it changed in a way. You also learn to forgive and so on and so forth. That also can help you in this life, in right here and now, and without going into past life also. Past life regression, that's right. Past life regression. Anyway, all these type of things are helpful in a certain way. In a certain way, they can be helpful because if you have number 1 to number A, B, C, D, E, this is the mundane supernormal powers. Mundane in the sense that if you have those things, you can understand the Dhamma much more wider than normally for all of us can do to understand. So if you can have that. But the F1, extinction of all cankers, this one is for Arahants only. This one you got to practice, especially Vipassana, until Arahantship. Then only we can end this cycle of birth and rebirth. For A to E1, there are also ascetics, not in the Buddhist tradition. They also can have these powers also. Even before the Buddha arises, there are people who have these things. And even after the Buddha arises, there are people who have these things. The A to E, they have these things. So, of course, nowadays, it's going to be very few. But this is the supernormal powers, is what people want to see, Pin pahi, do all kinds of, all these things, but they can really do real one, Like, for example, like sometimes they got the magic shows on TV and so on, like David Copperfield flying. You love to see those things, You love to see those things, how they fly and all that. All you say is, oh, maybe it's a camera trick and so on and so forth. But when actually they do it in front of you and see, then that time, if I give a Dhamma talk here and somebody do a supernormal power on their side, you think you want to come to hear the Dhamma talk here. You want to listen, you want to go and see how people have magical power, and rather than listening to the Dhamma talk. So this one is this one. So the F1 is the most important one. But this one is, again, all this is incomprehensible by normal people. Unless you have it, even you have it, you cannot able to comprehend everything like the Buddha. And also, like, for example, the fourth one is this absorption in fruition. This one belongs to the this one belongs to all the first level, second, third, fourth, from Sotapanna to Arahant. They can able to absorb in this fruition. Absorption to this fruition is similar to jhana. Absorption in jhana. Absorption in jhana is in the mundane level. Absorption in fruition is in the supramundane level. It's also a kind of a jhana thing that you go into it, you absorb into it for a period of time. You develop the skills of how to enter into the fruition, when to stay, how long you want to stay, and when you want to get out of it, and how you want to go in this way and that way. You can absorb in fruition while you are walking, if you want to. You can do it while you're sitting, if you want to. If you are lying down, if you want to. So absorption in this fruition have many different ways. How they do it, and so on. Even absorption in jhana also. One can do it in walking also. But how to do it? Of course, you have to have jhana first, then try it out and you'll see. And then some people say, oh, no, jhana can only do it in the sitting position only. And then that is what you read in the books, But actually, when a person who has those things, then they describe and so on. Number 5, absorption in cessation. This one belongs to the Anagami and Arahants who have the 8 all the jhanas from until the 8 arupa jhanas. With that, they can able to enter into cessation. When it says that enter into cessation, this is not Nibbana anymore. This is not Nibbana. This is cessation. Here is the cessation of feelings and perception. Everything totally like cut off. The mind as if like no more there. Zero mind, but the body is still alive. Body is still alive, but zero mind. There's no mind. Whereas in absorption, in fruition, the mind still experience Nibbana. Whereas in absorption, in cessation, it doesn't experience Nibbana. It totally cut off. Everything, the whole mind totally cut off for a period of time until he gets out from it. Of course, we're not going to talk about it too much, because again, talk about it too much, you go mad. You have a lot of doubt. You're going to have a lot of all kinds of idea and so on. So we're not going to touch on this type of things. Now, already 10 o'clock. Now we come back on Wednesday again. Then we look into the karma and vipaka, which is quite interesting, the karma and vipaka. And so I've got a few things here ready for you already. So we'll come back on Wednesday. We'll look into it a little bit more on this Acinteyya Sutta. Right? Okay. So that's it. I will share merits.